Hello, thanks for joining us. That's Dean.
That's Darren.
Yeah, but people often call me Dean and they call him
Darren.
Yeah, it's awkward.
Crazy.
We're from Nova Entertainment, creative directors. We're involved with the marketing and development of our clients and helping them find ways to communicate with the radio audience.
And we hope to share some amazing insights with you today.
We're very structured. In fact, we keep a running tally of everything that comes in. And Dean and John created a massive, a workflow chart for us, and everything that comes in we log, so we know who's on it, we know when it's expected by, and we're really hardcore on making sure those deadlines are adhered to. So
we have a daily production meeting in the morning, and we work out what jobs are going to be done for that day, what voices are required, and we coordinate it from there.
God, everything to me nowadays, when we first launched the model and making creative a bit of a hero in the storytelling was, you have 3 days to get this done, and in hindsight that was a bit of a luxury, and now it's like, can I have this afternoon? Or this is on air tomorrow, which is hard because apart from what we have to get together, there's loads of other variables. We've got to rely on interstate talent, we've got to rely on approvals from clients. So I think that's the other big part of what we do too. We're always sharing information straight away. If something's going down, I can pick that up, or we're always across each other's jobs. So I would say that the turnarounds are quicker and faster than ever.
It means it's more collaborative, but at the same time, it's such a short-term market, you have to be.
Good brief, and I think if you've got good account execs, good salespeople, that makes our job twice as easy. I think because they're on the same wavelength we are. They know what we expect from a brief, and we spend a lot of time, don't we? Kind of one-on-ones. People come in. We have things called fireside chats. So if somebody says, "I don't know what to do with this client. I haven't written a brief. Have you got any ideas?" Okay, come in. Dean puts on the iPad. We put a little fire on it. A little fire app, crackling fire, and we sit around it and we talk. And that is the best way to get stuff out, because nothing's written down. It's just that collaboration and that talking that really, sometimes we get some gold out of that, don't we? So
yeah, and it's an opportunity for the salespeople to actually talk to us before the brief's even written.
And they get ownership too, don't they, out of that? So
absolutely. Identifying the target market's number one. We've got to get inside the head of that consumer. So it's got to be identified. You've got to have a nice, tight target to aim for. Otherwise, it just becomes a really bland kind of shotgun approach. So
we still get briefs go, everyone who wants to drive a car, or everyone who wears shoes. We're like, those demographics are fine, but what we're after is a psychographic element. Okay, they wear shoes, but what sort of car do they drive, and where do they wear the shoes? And what things do they dig? Are they joggers? Do they sit at home? Do they watch sport? Are they into sport? So we want a psychographic picture of that person, and then we can sort of draw on our own, thoughts and stuff, and a knowledge base to sort of knock something out from there. Just the right information, I reckon. Yeah, because we get stacks. So sometimes they go, I've had things where they've stapled brochures or adverts to it, and it's all just superfluous rubbish.
Or they've copied and pasted the entire website.
Yeah, the website's on there.
Into there.
Yeah, it's like, so that's really poor brief taking. Yep. As the rep, if you can't extract those core elements, that one single thought that they need to get out of the advertising, well, you're not doing your job very well, because how are we meant to do it? We haven't had that first point of contact, so it's crucial that salesperson is right on the ball. They're a marketer, in essence. They're trying to get as much from that business information, relevant information, for us to write a campaign that's going to connect with the radio station's audience. We can't do that unless they've done their job properly.
I think the single most important thing there is having an understanding that both the client and the account manager have agreed on what we're trying to achieve. And that's what's in the brief. They need to have it really clear between the two of them that they have come up with what the opportunity is, because then we can just jump onto it from there.
And if they both agree, normally there's less change. There's no shock factor, is there, when they get there? Because commercials aren't tangible things. These are intangible things we're selling. We're selling emotions and story arcs, and we're going, oh, trust us, this will work. But it's nothing that any client can touch or feel. It's not like getting a new car or sitting on a new couch. So all we're doing is selling ideas. So the closer those ideas are that we have to that client's or to that business's target audience or aim, the better off we are and the more success we'll always get. And if we always come away with the asking the client, what problem are you solving in the market, and often they don't know. And then we've got to sort of go through, it's our job sometimes when we meet with clients to go through the problems in the market or in their category, I should say.
Yeah.
So when they've identified a problem, then we can suggest ways they could solve it. And then we advertise that fact. So often we'll get a business who's been successful for whatever reason, but they haven't grown their business because they're not identifying what the problem is in the market to grow their business more and get more of that market share. So we're really good, I think, at pulling those things out, and we've been doing it for years. So call to action and brand, they can be the same thing. And I think in radio, you have that luxury where you can do that. You don't have that luxury on television. I don't think you have that luxury on press. But I think with radio, you can actually mix those call to action messages and still get the right tone of the business in there. How you do that is normally up to us, because we create that tone and that brand for the business. So you can have call to act, I think, in a campaign, and in relation to the tone, you can have some brand elements involved. So I think now more than ever, they're kind of merged.
Yeah.
If you do it right and you're clever about it, you don't have to have a straight out branding campaign. Although I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but if you've got a limited budget, you still can brand and call to act. Oh God, it's the personality of the business, I think. And if you can separate that, which we normally can, I think, because we're always digging for that thing that's different about them. And we set that brand tone with the voice we use, the words we choose, and the way we communicate to the target audience, and the placement. As well, all those things are really important, and they can really reflect the brand tone. And you can tell if an advertiser is really given a hoot about what they want their message to be, because they're communicating to the audience. They're not yelling at them, they're not disrespecting them, and that's something that I think every radio writer should be aware of, and we are certainly here, and we have been from day one. We always respect the listener. We want them to be part of the station. We don't want to be an interruption when we write our ads or the ads are heard. We want them to be part of the programming, and we've always got that in mind, and we never yell at anyone. We never write crass advertising. There's no fart jokes, and if they are, they're really funny. But if we try and keep that stuff out of it, because our aim is to communicate and to get runs on the board for the client and for the listener. So it's a win-win.
I think, and I hate to say it, but some of the most identifiable campaigns on radio are when the client has voiced the ad. Do I like it? Not necessarily, but it comes down to having a brand tone. If the person behind the business is part of their image and part of their brand going out, then yeah, it stands out.
Yeah, it does. You know why? Because that, in essence, is we like to use the phrase strange attractor, and that's something that just pops out. That's not the norm. Okay, so when a client's on an advert and they sound terrible, and we all know they sound terrible, sometimes we can't stop listening to that train wreck. And that's their point of difference, because if you've got everything up here on a certain platform and a certain standard, then it all merges into one another. So having that break, having that break in the waveform, having a client voice an ad, as bad as they may sound, it's getting cut through. And the longer they do it, and they don't even have to get better at it, they're going to get recall. And I could mention a few brands, but I won't. They're doing that very well, because they've got the budget and they've got the recall.
I think consumers want to discover brands. So in that sense, they are prepared to go and search for it. And I think you're probably wasting your time filling an ad full of websites and phone numbers and all that stuff, because they will invariably go straight to their search engine and find it. So they want to discover stuff, and there's actually a bit of a surprise and delight when there it is, that's the website. And they feel like they haven't been manipulated because they sort out the information.
Yeah. No, I think consumers are are more switched on. That I mean, they know when the sort of advertising that we kind of pretty much detest is, okay, we need a slice of life sort of commercial. Let's get a little kid and let's get a mum and a dad, and we'll script some words for them, and we'll make them read this commercial, and everyone listening to this commercial knows it's not a mum and dad, or they know it's not a grandparent. This is a commercial, so it's not real. So straight away, to me, you're on the back foot. If you're going to do that stuff, get a real kid, get a real mum and dad, ask them random questions. Then it is a slice of life. Then there's no dodgy sort of sales spin in it. Oh, this is a real family. You know what? That family reminds me of my family. I'm going to buy this product or use that service. So consumers are switched on now. They're not taking all that old garb from the 1920s and 40s and going, oh, this is fantastic. Let's try this cream. Yeah.
They're
not doing that anymore. They know that's not cream. Some brands do that extremely well, and you know the high frequency thing and the price point scenario just banged at you time and time again. Often it's not about what those elements are. It's not about the big screen TV or the massive discounts or the interest free. It's about what's topping and tailing that commercial.
Yep.
So you're not hearing what's in the middle of it, but the frequency of that brand and that jingle, that song at the top and tail is what you know. So you know to go to Dean's Warehouse if you want interest free and the best TVs in town. I don't know what range of TVs are because he said too many in the 30-second commercial. I can't remember a thing. But what I do remember is I heard that 20 minutes ago, and I heard the top and tail of the commercial. So they do work for recall, I think, in that scenario. So, and you know where to go. So there's a place for it, absolutely.
Yeah, and it might just be absolutely a wish-wash of everything, but I'll go, I know that they've got lots of stuff, it's cheap, and lots of other people are going there, so I better go there first.
Yeah, it sticks with you, doesn't it? It's on the mind shelf. So. I reckon a few years ago I was like, oh my God, radio, what's going to happen when the internet kicks in? That was quite a few years ago, actually. But radio's been used online and everything as an ally, hasn't it? Really,
Yeah.
like particularly our business and stuff. We smash and we work in collaboration with
All
online,
the time.
Yeah, online businesses and stuff and the internet. So really, absolutely. You know, because it's what's that thing we saw the other day? Some chap was talking about it. He was saying that. Often, and he was referring to creativity, but radio is part and parcel of the end result. So someone might say, if you say, oh, where did you find our business? People go, oh, I found it in the white pages or something, or online. But the first point of that touch point was normally through a radio commercial, and then they went to either the internet or they went to the yellow pages. So radio does not get the credit it deserves in that regard. So it's always there. It's always going to be the front runner. It's always going to be the introducer, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely.